In this lesson, we're going to be looking at writing linear equations of vertical and horizontal lines. So how do I write an equation of a vertical and a horizontal lines? Let's first of all take a look at what a vertical line looks like. Remember, the vertical lines are the lines that go straight up and down. They have an undefined slope. And so if I took a look and in every case in this vertical line, x is equal to 4. So if I have 4, 0, I have 4, 1, 4, 2, and so forth. I have an x is equal to 4. Now, another way of looking at that is to make a little xy table, if you're having a hard time determining, and pick out, 2 or 3 points. And so I have 4, 0, 4, 1, and 4, 2. And notice that in every case, x is equal to 4. X cannot be anything other than 4. So our equation to this is x is equal to 4. And now it's asking us, let's determine the slope. And so for the vertical line, straight up and down is an undefined slope. Now let's write an equation between 2 points. And remember, you need 2 things in order to write an equation. And in this case, I have -8, so y of 2 minus y of 1, all over x of 2. All right, so we have -37, all over 2 minus 2 is 0. Now notice, when you have something that is on the bottom here, we have 0 on the bottom, that gives us an undefined slope. So right now we know that this is going to go straight up and down. So when 0 is on the bottom, we know that our slope is undefined. All right, so now let's go ahead and write the equation for this. Well, notice how we have, in these cases, x is equal to 2. And if I were to just put this on the line, I know that these are kind of big. 229 would be way up here, and I'd have 2. -8 would kind of be down here. Notice how it's going straight up and down. So in this case, it's an x is equal to 2 because in every case, x is 2. It cannot be anything other than 2. So now let's take a look at the horizontal lines. Notice how this has a 0 slope. It's going straight across. And if I made a little xy table to help me, I could have x, y. Let's pick a couple of points. Let's pick this point and maybe this point. So you have 0, 3. I have 2, 3. And I could keep going. I could have 4, 3. And in every case, notice that y is equal to 3. So the equation we have here is y is equal to 3. Now our y is equal to 1. Notice how we have it solved for y. Y is equal to mx plus b. Let's write that up top here. Well, you have your y and you have your b. And so in order to not have that m, it has a 0 slope. That's why you don't see an x there. So the slope here then, the y is equal to 3. In every case, y is 3, and our slope is equal to 0. So let's take a look at what it looks like if you have it between 2 points. Let's label our points. We're going to find the slope first. So I'm going to take y of 2 minus y of 1. All over 18 minus -21. So 8 minus 8 is 0. And then we have 18 plus 21, and we're going to have 39. And anytime you have 0 on the top of any number, that slope is 0. And take a look here. In these cases here, the y is 8. The only thing that y can be is 8. If you looked at this on a graph, you'd have negative 21, 8. You'd have 18, 8. And it's going to be straight across like this. In every case, y is going to be 8. So you have a y is equal to 8. And our slope in this case is going to be 0. All right, let's try a couple more examples. So we have this horizontal line, and notice I'm going to take a couple of points here. I just think that's really helpful. And let's make ourselves a little XY table. And I'm going to have 0, 1, and I'm going to have 2, 1, and you don't need anything more than that. Notice the pattern that we have, y is equal to 1. So our equation for this one we see is y is equal to 1, and it's also wanting us to identify the slope. Well, the slope in this case, notice how it's not going up and over. It's just straight across. So our slope is equal to 0. All right, for number 2 then, we have this vertical line. And notice then, let's take a couple of points. I'm just going to take this point and this point right here, and I'm going to make this little XY table. And once you understand, you're not always going to have to make this XY table, but it's really helpful for a little while. So you have negative 1, 0, and I have negative 1, 2. And notice the pattern here. I have x is equal to negative 1. The only thing it can be is negative 1. And so there's my equation, and now our slope, remember when things go straight up and down, that means that the slope is undefined. All right, so now let's take a look at writing an equation for these 2 points. Again, you always have to find the slope. That's x2, y2. All right, so we're going to find the slope between negative 12 minus y of 1, which is 15, all over 3 minus 3. So you're going to have negative 27 all over 0. Now notice you have 0 on the bottom. So right now we know that we have an undefined slope. So our slope we know. So we have m is equal to undefined. And then let's determine then, notice the pattern here. In every case, x is going to be equal to 3. So that's our equation there. All right, in our next one, we have x1, y1, x2, y2. So again, I'm going to take y of 2 minus y of 1 all over x of 2 minus x of 1. 7 minus 7 is 0. And 11 minus 2 is 9. So we know right now we have our slope of 0. And now let's look for the pattern here. Notice in both cases, or in every case, y is going to be equal to 7. All right, so in this lesson we took a look at how to write equations for these special lines that are horizontal and vertical.